Hi, everybody. Wednesday afternoon. Marz Timms is, let me know he's filming right up until 1, so he will be joining me as soon as he possibly can. It's today. I don't know about you guys. I'm just getting tired. All I can tell you. I don't know if anybody of you stayed up and watched some of the riots and demonstrations. There was some rioting. There was some damage to buildings, and it just makes me sad. And here he is, right here. Good afternoon, Marz.
What up,
How are you, bud? Oh my gosh, it's great to see you.
You too.
Oh my gosh.
Under the sea.
It's one of my things when I do this, because I'm doing it from my bedroom. I don't want people to see the mess that my bedroom is, so I put up a little live stream of something every day.
Reveal yourself, charlatan.
Yes. You've got an awesome background right there.
Oh, yeah. It's from the Ramen Museum in Japan.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's one thing I recalled. And by the way, folks, if you're just tuning in, this is Marz Timms. I've got to work with Marz several times, and he is one of my favorite human beings I've ever met, because he's just got such a great personality. He's so positive. And my friend, you are needed. not only this time of pandemic, but I'm talking to you from the suburbs of Minneapolis, and things are rough up here right now.
Oh yeah. I've been monitoring things that are going on. Not good.
It's so hard for me, because obviously I'm not black, and I don't like it, and I can't understand people that are my race that defend those police. I don't see how that can even be a possibility, and yet they do it, and then they get mad because when people demonstrate, some people get out of hand. And there was some property damage, I guess last night, and people were like, well, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, you know what? You can't, and I'm sorry, but you can't, as a white person, you can't say that, because I don't have the fear of having somebody kneel on my neck because I forged something, allegedly forged something.
I mean, I have been in many a situation, and it's easy for some people to say, well, don't resist arrest. You don't have to. I've been in situations, I smile most of the time, and I'll still get stopped, and I had cops kick me for no reason whatsoever. I had a cop run up to me on a busy street. It was two of them. They were running down the sidewalk, and I see these two like goth-looking guys like walking towards me, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder what they did." And the cops run right past them and like just grab me on this like crowded street, and I'm just like, "Wait, what's going on?" And they're like, "Somebody robbed the magic shop," and I was like, "Motherfucker, do I look like a magician?" I was like, "Why would I rob the magic shop?" And they like dragged me to the corner of the block, and they're like radioing in. They're like, "Hey, have the owner step out and see if this is the guy that did it." Of course, I wasn't the guy. And I was like, "Well, why would you?" And they're like, "Well, they said the person had a hat on." And I'm like, there's tons of people walking down the street with a hat on. So you're going to need to do better than that. They just had a hat on. So yeah, it's tough. It's things that a lot of times as an African American, you're just like, that's the way shit is, and you try to keep yourself out of trouble, but It's unfortunate that you can't necessarily,
it's unacceptable. I mean, period. And for somebody like you that I know that can keep a positive attitude, I mean, God, just more power to you, my friend.
I try. And again, it's not all police, because I have plenty of friends that are police officers for the Chicago police that, I've done shows with. I've hung out with after and before shows. My friend he's a retired Chicago police officer now. I wished him a happy birthday today. So again, it's not all cops, but we do need to say something and speak up so that the things that the bad cops are doing, we can get them out and get more good police officers in there. And
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I always try to be a turn the other cheek kind of person, but there's at a certain point, you might have to throw a fucking rock. I'm
with you.
Yeah, so
I'm with you. All right. So I just
comedy.
I just felt I did a show last night and with another guy and I don't know that you and I ever talked about this, but it's based on pro wrestling because why not? And I just feel like if I'm going to do this, I got to say something about it, but yes, ultimately, I didn't bring you on to be a downer. and I didn't bring you out of that. So anyway,
on
folks,
the couch with John Russell.
let him let it all out. So folks, if you don't know Marz is one of the creators of Pimp in Chicago, which is absolutely fabulous. He has been in numerous national and regional television commercials. He has been in numerous movies. He is the voice of Jax in Mortal Kombat. And not only that, I think one of the coolest things about you is that you are bringing your young son along with you into the VO business. And I just think that is, and the acting too. I know that he's been in some commercials as well. I just think that is so cool.
Oh, thank you. It was, it wasn't necessarily planned. He, sometimes there wouldn't be a babysitter and I'd have to take him down to my agents to auditions with me. And, they enjoyed playing with him. He'd run around the office and everything. And I think he was around 5 years old, maybe 6. And they were like, can he read? And I was like, yeah, he can read. And they're like, does he want to read for this commercial? And I was like, I don't know. Do you? And he was like, sure. And he read it and booked it, and that was that. Now he's for the past year and a half, he's the spokesperson for Ocean Spray cranberry juice on television. So,
oh my gosh,
yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah, he talks a lot of shit around the house.
Does he have a different agent than you now?
No, yeah. He's off in Hollywood. I'm still here. Green screening it up. And,
hey, Dad, if I can find a spot for you, I'll put you in.
Yeah, exactly. I go to auditions and like I booked this commercial a few months ago before I left the country, and I go in to record this spot, and the guy's looking at me, and he goes, "You're Yoshi's dad, right?" And I was just like. Yeah, I have a name. And he's like, oh, hey, tell him I said hi. And this is the place he goes to like record his commercials and everything. It's just like, I was coming here doing stuff before him. So, but now that's what I'm relegated to,
Yeah. Well, so I'm curious. Do you recall the last stand-up show or last improv show that you did before the pandemic closed everything down?
Yeah, I was in Thailand.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That seems dangerous.
No, it was amazing. It's it was a lot different than here. Everything was going to hell here in the States. And I'm over there in Thailand and I'm on the beach and walking down the street, eating food off carts and everything and just having a great time. And, people were sending me these messages and they're like, you're not going to be able to get back in the country if you don't come back now. So had to cut my tour short and hop on a flight and come back. But yeah, no, I was in Thailand and did a show, and it was great. It was a great time.
Oh, gosh. So when you go to Thailand to do a show, do you do it in English or do you speak Thai or?
No, I do it in English. So
Okay.
yeah, no, do it in English. There are a lot of most people in the world speak English outside of America. But no, it was good. There's a lot of expats and stuff. You meet people from all over the world, that are there at the shows, and so it was really cool. Really hot, super hot.
Yeah. This is my mother popping in here to give you a thumbs up and a hello. Mom likes to give a review after the show that I get by text. But don't worry, it's either he seems like a nice guy or that was a good show. If she doesn't mention you as a nice guy, then you didn't do well. But
wow.
It's just there's no degrees. It's not from 1 to 5 stars. It's like good guy or not. So
it's like in the Roman Colosseums with the gladiators and everything. It's either the thumbs up, he lives, or it's just a thumbs down from Mama Russell.
That's right. Hi, Peggy Miller. Good to see you. Thanks for looking in. So I'm just curious to get booked on a trip to Thailand. How did that come about? Because that's not a normal thing that a comedian from Chicago does.
No, I suppose not. The producer was a fan, and he was making a film over in Bangkok, and he was like, I'll fly you over here or pay you and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay. And then these other opportunities came up to go to Shanghai and Hong Kong and Singapore and Japan. And as the date got closer, Corona started ramping up, and it was like, probably shouldn't go to Hong Kong and Singapore. And then it was like, probably shouldn't go to Japan. And that left Thailand, a couple of spots in Thailand left. And then I was still going to go to Singapore. But then it was just like, well, they're shutting down the United States. And if you're out of the country, you're not going to be able to get back and all this other stuff. So
come home.
Yeah. So I was going to be gone for a month.
Oh, wow.
It ended up being 2.5 weeks.
Wow. But that's still a pretty good trip.
Oh yeah. It was a pretty good trip.
Yeah. You didn't get to go to Bangkok, right?
No,
did you?
Yep, absolutely. I was in Bangkok for about a week and a half.
Wow.
For about a week and a half. And yes, Bangkok is absolutely crazy. I suggest everyone go. It's like New York in the summer. It is just hot and it is crowded, but it is super cheap. Like I could eat and drink all day long for like $10.
Oh my gosh.
$10 American.
So maybe 20 for me.
So yeah, absolutely. Especially if you like go to the mall, you could go to the mall and you can get a card for 100 baht, and you could put like 100 baht on there, and you could go just for like stall to stall, buying and trying different foods and stuff like that. And me, I still wouldn't spend that 100 baht in the time there at the mall. So
wow, that's amazing. So you've really pretty accomplished in comedy. I'm wondering, did you? Well, but I mean, did you always want to be a comedian, or did this come upon you like when you were young, or maybe later in life? Or
I wanted to play football.
Yeah,
I did. I like football and wrestling and basketball, things where you get roughed up and knocked down. And you've met me. I'm not a very big guy at all. And my parents were just like, no. But I kept getting in trouble in school. Just, I wasn't a bad kid. I was more mischievous than anything else. And, just telling jokes and stuff like that. And finally in high school, this one girl who I was teasing for like 4 years she was directing a play, and she was like, you know what? If you weren't such a big asshole, you should probably audition for this play because I think you'd be great in it. And I was like, I'm not doing your stupid play. I got to go to wrestling practice. But then I ended up auditioning for the play, got a small part in there. I really enjoyed it and kind of started taking off from there. And I was kind of like, oh, maybe I do enjoy this. So I was more doing improv and acting first, and went to stand up.
Yeah, gosh, that's awesome. So how did you decide you were going to do the Pimprov show?
Pimprov came about because I had a show called the Big Kids Comedy Hour.
Okay.
And we would do that show, and we'd always end up with about 20 minutes left in our time slot at the end of each of our shows. And I was like, I want to try and think of something to fill this 20 minutes. And I was like, well, comedy is very much character driven. And I was like, no, what are some big characters that I can think of? And I was like, well, pimps are these giant flamboyant characters. There's, the music associated with them and the outfits and the way they talk. And one of the guys in the show that I was doing, his father was an ex-pimp. And so I was like, well, we could try this pimp show. And so we got these pimp outfits. And the first show is just us standing on stage, making fun of each other's outfits. And these two guys in the back were like, this is amazing. You guys should keep doing this. So kept doing the show, and it evolved. And now the show's been running for 16 years. It's been every Friday night in Chicago for the past 11 years before Corona hit.
Yeah.
And, we do a lot of things for the community year in and year out. Every show we take up donations for various domestic abuse shelters in whatever city we're performing in. We do a Toys for Tots program every Christmas for kids that have to stay in domestic abuse shelters throughout the holidays. And also we have our Thanksgiving event where we get baskets of food for needy families around Chicago. So it's turning into this whole big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's like they always say, if you keep doing what you enjoy, it's not work, and people hang on and like it.
Yeah. So we had fans for years that come back time and time. We have people that bring their kids back now.
Oh, yeah.
To the show. So yeah, it's a great show, and you do the show with they're basically friends now, and except this one guy, Jonathan Keaton, but and Greg Holloman. And all of them, they're all a bunch of jerks and awful people, and I hate with them. But every Friday night, it's just like a big party, and we have fun.
Now I can't recall because I know this, and I didn't find it, but you've been involved with it. Is it a show on Comedy Central or MTV? I can't remember which.
There was the Netflix show.
Oh, maybe Netflix. That's it.
Easy on Netflix.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that, because obviously I'm not smart enough to pay attention and or look you up.
Yes, you absolutely are, and you are doing a lot better interviewing than some people. And I'm not going to say who they are, just in case they're watching. But I had an interview that was awful, and at least you've done some research and you're asking me questions about me instead of this all being about you. So it's a show on Netflix. It's called Easy. It's about relationships. It's filmed here in Chicago, and it has 3 seasons, directed by the amazing Joe Swanberg. Mark Maron's in it, Michael Chernus, Elizabeth Reeser, Dave Franco, Orlando Bloom, Malin Ackerman, Hannibal Buress.
You can stop anytime because your name is right up there with them, buddy. Holy cow. That is a lineup right there.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Great show.
My gosh.
So people should watch it. Seeing that
absolutely.
In the
Easy on Netflix.
That's why.
So Mortal Kombat, a lot of people know, and I know it from being younger, playing it at the arcade. And when they redid that for different consoles in 2011, you were the voice of Jax.
I got to be the voice of Jax, yeah, in one of the games. It was a great experience. People ask about it, and I tell them that being in a recording booth is a lot like doing porn, in that you have you have a bunch of people watching you, and then they're just like, "All right, we need you to make some noises. All right, let's hear a grunt." Ugh. And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's a good one. Let's hear a longer grunt." Ugh. Oh yeah, that's good. Now let's get a short one. A long one. Oh yeah, that's so good. Now give me a long one. And they're like, yeah, that was good. All right, are we done in here? Okay, good. Hey, thanks, Marz.
How did they? So in the sessions where they were recording you? Hi, Denny. Thanks for looking in, buddy. Appreciate it. When you were recording, was it one long session? Was it several sessions? How long did it take you to do all of the audio they needed for that game?
It was a couple of sessions. The way it came about is they were having a reading for the script, and so they called in some actors from Chicago, and we got there, and they're like, because they keep all these games under lock and key because they don't want anyone stealing ideas, and so you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement and everything. They're like, none of you guys in here are going to be in this game. We were bought by Warner Brothers. It's all being recorded in LA by LA actors. So we just want you guys to read this so we can edit the script, send it off. We're like, cool, fine, no problem. 2 years after that, they gave me a call. They're like, we really like the way you did it. We don't necessarily like the guy we have doing it here in LA. Do you want to do the part? Yes, please. Went in for a few sessions and did all of the lines. And then I think after that, it took maybe 3 or 4 years before the game actually came out.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So without getting too, into your financials, I'm curious. Yeah, there you go. I'm curious how you get paid. Do you get a flat fee? Do you get some kind of residuals?
Nope, just one payment.
One time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure that was a pretty good one.
It was all right.
I'm sure it's more than what we got to work at the Harris Casino.
Yes.
Up there in the UP.
Yes. We're almost on there again this year. When they asked me back, I was like, "Can John come?" And they're like, "Oh, we got somebody else already."
Yeah, and the other thing is too. Yeah, I'm not to get off the track, but I love those people at Bonkers. They're so nice.
Yeah,
they, I had a situation maybe 3 years ago now, where I had an infection in my face, or I can't remember the name, but my face really swelled up. I was in the hospital for a week, and I was there until the day that I was supposed to be there, and I was hemming and hawing, thinking I'm going to get out of here. I can go do that show, and I couldn't. And I sent an email to Margaret and said, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I'm in the hospital. I can't do it." And she says, "Oh, that's okay. I understand." And I got out of the hospital, and about another week after that, she said, "Are you okay? Would you like to go up now?" And I said, "Yes."
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're familiar with the comedian Chris Cope. He's out of Florida. I think he might be in LA now. But he was here, and there was a huge snowstorm, and he said, "I have no idea how to drive in this stuff. Will you drive?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll drive." So we got halfway there in this terrible snowstorm, and Joe called up and said, "Hey, the casino canceled," because, as you know, working out of the Midwest, it's a game of chicken. If there's a bad snowstorm, you got to go, because if you're the one that calls and cancels, you don't get paid.
That's
but if
right.
they call and cancel, then you get paid.
That's right.
So before Chris was off the phone with Joe, I had already found a spot, and we were turning around going back. And and he was happy, and I was happy, and we both got paid for that. And then another week later, Margaret called again and said, "Hey, can you go up now?" So And she's been very nice, and sends me up there, and it's it's a bit of a drive from here, but I love that place. It's so much fun.
It is. I love it. I usually get in the hot tub and everything. And the last time I was up there, there was this big private party that rented out like a room of the hotel. And after the show, they invited me back up to their floor. And it was this just crazy party up there. And we were drinking all sorts of stuff. They had a hot tub that they were throwing all of their empties in. And it was about 3/4 full. By the time the show was over, I got like 3 Christmas gifts while I was there. Wow. It's a great time. I love going up there. And Margaret, once you get in and you're cool with Margaret, she takes care of you.
Yep, she sure does. Well, one of the things, now that's a good gig. One of the things I like to ask people about, and I've done it every show, is I like to find out about your favorite or most memorable hell gig.
Oh boy. Oh yeah. I have one that just popped right into my head. And it wasn't necessarily the gig itself that was bad. It was what happened after the gig.
Gotcha.
So I mean, do you want one about a bad gig or just
you can tell me both, to be honest.
Okay. Well, this one was so bad because after the show, the owner and the bartender and another comic were all just like hanging out in the venue, and they're like, "Hey, you want to go to the strip club?" And it's just like, "Sure, cool." And I was staying with one of the comics there in the town I was in, and his girlfriend goes to the strip club. We're drinking at the strip club. They buy us lap dances. His girlfriend, her friend, they buy the 3 of us lap dances, the venue owner, the comic, myself. We get these lap dances. They stand back and they watch. When it's over, she comes up to me and she was like, "That was a test and he failed." And I was like, "Oh boy, I have to stay with them." So they're arguing in the strip club. The argument goes out into the parking lot. I follow them out. I get in my car. I'm like, should I just follow you guys? They're in the car just like screaming and yelling. I can see them through the back window while I'm following them. They're yelling at each other. We get to their house. This is like this dark rural street. I go to my trunk. I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to get my stuff out of the trunk." They're just still like arguing. Blah, 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 blah. By the time I close my trunk and I have my bag and everything, they are gone. I'm standing on this dark street. I have no idea which house they went into. None of the lights are on. I'm just like, what the hell? So I'm like, all right, we're in front of this house right here. So this should be it, right? I go walking in. I turn the knob. The door comes open. Walk in. It's pitch black. I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. It's like 3 or 4 in the morning. Had a lot to drink. So I don't pay attention to the little kids' shoes that I see.
Oh, no.
Right here. So in my head, it's like, it's dark. Turn the light on your phone. I turn the light on. I'm walking through this house. I go up the stairs looking for the people I'm supposed to be staying with. I get to the top of the stairs. This guy who's snoring pops up out of his bed. And I am like, that's not who I'm supposed to be staying with.
Oh my God.
He sees me. He jumps out of bed. He runs over to his dresser and he pulls his gun out.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I've seen this movie. Don't wait around and go, no, 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 no. It's not what you think. I go running down the stairs. My bag gets caught on the stairs. I fall back. I'm like, I'm trying to like pull my bag. I hear this guy like rummaging around, I guess, to find bullets or whatever. I get my bag loose. I go running out the front door and I run and I hide behind my car. He comes out. He's on his front lawn. He's looking around. He doesn't see me. He goes running around like to the back of his house. I jump in my car. I zoom off.
Oh my God.
I ended up sleeping in my car on the side of the expressway because I didn't have this guy's number who I was staying with.
Oh my God, dude.
And in my head, I'm like, well, that guy is probably at his next NRA meeting like, this is exactly why I have guns, you guys. He was like, I woke up 4 a.m. in my house, huge black guy, had to be 6'9" if he was anything, 260. And he's like, what did you do? I ran to the dresser and I grabbed old Betty. That's what I did. And they're like, yeah. And he like chases it out. I was like, I chased him out of the house. And I was just like, yeah, I can see where he's coming from in that situation.
Oh my God. That is fantastic, dude.
Yeah, I was.
Was your heart just
weeks.
I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just can't even imagine.
It was awful. It was awful. And then like just worst show. I opened for this comedian Eddie Griffin.
Oh yeah.
At this huge venue in Indiana. It was this huge casino. And I had just started doing stand-up. And they were like, do you have 20 minutes? And I was like, of course I do. I get out there, and this is a prime example of knowing your audience. I'm a nerdy guy. So this I'm like doing like these dorky jokes about paper and construction paper and all this other stuff. And this crowd is just like, that shit ain't funny, nigga. And I'm just like, oh shit. And pretty much I got booed off the stage.
Oh my God.
20 minutes of Eddie Griffin's set. He is roasting me. He's like, you guys have fucking Urkel opening up for me. My parents were in the audience. They almost got into a fight with people that were like booing me and everything. And this is like
my God.
3,200 seat venue. I go out on stage. My face is up on these big giant screens. And I'm just in awe. I'm just like, wow, this is huge. This is amazing. Bombed.
Oh my God. I don't know which of those two stories is better. My gosh. Those are just terrifying for a comic.
Look,
aren't they?
Yeah, you know, we all go through it, man. We all
get them. We all get the good ones.
Yeah, I want to hear yours now. What?
Oh my God! Oh my gosh! I go through this with I told one yesterday because I asked people and then I run out of story. I don't want to keep telling the same one. There's just been so many. I was fortunate. I was asked to open with another comic. He and I were both doing a show for what we were told the young adults group from the Marfan Foundation. Now, if you don't know what Marfan is a disease, and it affects people's hearts, and you can tell if somebody has it because their faces are very long, their teeth are very big, and they're what you would say long and gangly. Okay. A good example. I don't know if you know the comedian from Minneapolis, Andy Erickson. She came in second on Last Comic. She's got that disease.
Okay.
So they were having this big convention down in Rochester. And Andy was going to be one of the keynote speakers, which is very, very cool. And it was like 3-4 days, right? And so we were contracted to perform for the young adults group, and we were told, 25 to 45 young adults. Well, I don't know. Anyway, so we get there, and by young adults they meant nobody that was over 18, and oh my gosh, it was one of the most difficult things I ever tried to do, because they were with me on some stuff, but most of it like, we don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're not even old enough to drive. Right. You're barely old, but they were very nice and very supportive, but I just felt like crap afterwards, and many people always say, well, gosh, when something like that happens, what do you do? And by the way, the other guy, Benny Quash, who I don't know if you know him, he's from Minneapolis. He was with me, and he didn't do much better during his time, but he did more crowd work and more talking with them than I did, because I was just trying to get my head above water, Right. But people say, what do you do when something like that happens? And I always say, I count my money again on the way home. Makes me feel a lot better when I know that I got that.
Yeah. You're just like, Get them next time.
Yeah. You know, one of my comic friends, and he got this advice passed on to him. He would get very, very nervous. Tommy Thompson was his name, and he's a great guy. But his advice was, if you ever get nervous, if you ever get in a spot, just keep in your head, getting paid to say words. And it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it sting any less.
No.
But getting paid to say words. All right. So there's a couple of hell gigs from you. On the other side of the coin, tell me about the one show or one event in comedy that made you feel 10 feet tall and just, oh my God, this is the greatest night for me in comedy, at least up to this point.
I was in New York to do a show, and this is like some years ago, and the cast of SNL was there.
Oh wow!
And it turned out to be an amazing show. Horatio Sands was on SNL at the time, and he came out and he introduced us. After the show, went backstage and hung out with them, and it was just an amazing night. And I had a great show. You know, when you have a great show and there's just no better feeling. You walk off stage and you know it. You just know it. Sometimes we know that we're just like I made it through. Everything was okay. But when you have a great show and you yourself know you had a great show, not what all the audience members say, because sometimes they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you were all right," but when you walk off stage and you know that you're in deep down inside that you had a great show, and you're just like, "Yeah, that's why I do this. That's why I do this, because I know I did the best I could, and those people had a great time. All the people in the audience were enjoying themselves. That's why I get on stage. I get on stage to make people laugh. When they laugh, I have a good time.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not necessarily about me getting out on stage just to bitch about all my problems and how I see the world different than anybody else. I always look at it as a competition. I'm competing with their work week. I'm competing with their day. I'm competing, with they're angry at a boyfriend or they're angry at their spouse for something they did. And then they come to the show and they want to forget all of those things. And if I do my job and I do my job well, I can help them forget for 45 minutes or an hour about all those other things that are going wrong, in their life. And that makes me feel good.
It's a great philosophy, because it's true. If you're not having fun and if you're not thinking about it that way, you're doing it wrong. Talk with other people. It's like you have to have fun to make it fun for everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And the audience can tell when you're not having fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely they can. All right, so that's pretty good. Were the SNL cast, were they sitting up close where you could see them, or?
No, they're like backstage and in the green room and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Raj was hanging out, and they may have been in and out, but you get in the zone and you're doing it.
You don't pay attention when you're up on stage. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah,
a little bit.
I get confused sometimes, because I'm old. I'm old, baby.
Oh, you're not.
It's one of those things. So have you done any of the virtual open mics while this has been going on, or haven't done one of them?
No.
Well, you're busy though. So I told people when I first came on, you were filming right up until 1:00.
Yeah.
So you're still in essence, while you don't have a stand-up schedule, you're still working, doing commercial and that type of thing, right?
Yeah. Working on a TV pilot, which isn't really anything until it's something. But that's what I've been working on. I did do a stand-up show. I headlined. They have a thing called Bike the Drive here in Chicago where they close down Lakeshore Drive, and then people bring their bikes and they get the bike all up and down Lakeshore Drive for about 5 hours. So it was canceled. So they had a virtual event called Laughter Drive, and I got to headline that. And so I recorded my set from my little studio here and sent it in. They and it went very well. I watched it; turned out really, really well. They even sent me, the sponsor was a Revolution Brewing Company, and they sent me a bunch of beer. So
nice.
Yeah. So I won.
You did. You absolutely did.
Yeah. Gosh. So that's the only stand-up show I have done during quarantine. But I've done interviews and a couple of game shows. I'm doing a game show this Friday called Wise Kraken, and I think that's on like at 7 or like 8 o'clock, and so that's fun as well.
Gosh, that will be awesome. I'm trying. I developed an idea, and the idea is that I've got some comics and some of my old friends from radio and a couple of local celebrities that are going to be playing the match game, provided I can pull it off. And the idea is we're taking the old films from the 70s, and I'm having Gene Rayburn read the question, and then if our celebrity panel can match the contestant, they get a point. And then if they can match the panel, they also get a point. And if they match them both, they get an extra point. So but it's very complicated for something that shouldn't be. But I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that tomorrow night at 7.
Right.
And,
on the Goonies.
on this very same spot.
Okay.
And if it works out, I'll do it again. And if it doesn't work out, I'll just delete it, because we have the ability.
Right.
So now I know you're scheduled to headline down at Goonies. There. Awesome. You'll love it, Dave. I mean, you really will. I guarantee you. So you're scheduled to headline at Goonies in July, right? Or August?
I think it's August.
Okay. So good for you. You're still safe.
Fingers are crossed.
At this point, Minnesota is so crazy right now. It's Goonies is inside another business. They're inside the Crooked Pint restaurant, and so we can't do anything until they open up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're kind of in a kind of a tough spot. But hopefully we'll be able to do things in August. And our plan then is, even though we can open, we're still going to be at smaller capacity.
Right.
But I think what we're going to do is we're going to live stream the show as well once the tickets sell out.
Okay.
So hopefully, we'll have enough. And if we can have 40 people in there, that's enough for a good show. And then we can stream it to everybody else, and then hopefully it'll make sense. But who knows? I was scheduled to headline there next week or 2 weeks on the 6th. And so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
I'm flying by too.
I know you can't ever catch a break. Well, maybe you can. I don't know.
The casino opened up. Island Resort. They had a show 2 Sundays ago.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It's very weird. We've got people that are the hard part is there's no set fast rules everywhere. And we had people. I know that they're doing the comedy club in Sioux Falls. I think you work there, Bosses. Maybe not. But they're doing a drive-up comedy show, Comedy Corner Underground, which is kind of the local in downtown Minneapolis. It's not but it's
performed there. Yeah.
Yeah. They're doing a drive-up, I think, either this weekend or next weekend. And so there's all sorts of things that are starting to pop up. be it online, be it live. I mean, and it's not live, but you go, you drive, you're honking your horn, and they got it set up really cool where they're doing an FM broadcast. So they got a small one of those low power FM broadcasters that'll send it out to everybody's car, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, it's like a drive-in movie.
Exactly.
Cool.
And I think it's very cool. I just our problem down at Goonies is we can't really do that because we don't have any place to do it.
All right.
Unless Walmart lets us, because Walmart lets you sleep there.
Yes,
right? You can sleep at a Walmart. So why couldn't you just do a show there? And then
you can do a lot of things at Walmart.
Oh my God. So when you go out and do shopping and stuff, do you get all masked up or do you just go out?
I do get all masked up, but I don't go shopping. I haven't been to a store in a while. I have all my stuff delivered.
Oh yeah. See, well, you're in a different spot in Chicago. I don't know exactly what neighborhood you live in, but here where I, pardon me,
West Side.
Oh, perfect. Where? Which what side of Chicago proper?
Oak Park. I'm right. I walk out my house into Chicago.
Nice. Right across the street, huh?
Yep.
Not that I care. Not that I mean, it's like,
you coming to visit?
I will. I mean, I could. I mean, if you need some big lummox to like hang out on the porch and have people go, what the hell is going on with Marz?
Is everything okay in there?
What? Why is that guy there? I'm like, yeah, he's the best. And you can just go, he's the best plumber I know.
Okay, and the Memorial Day, the neighbors upstairs, their dishwasher broke and it was leaking all down into my kitchen. So that's what my Memorial Day morning was spent doing, trying to clean all that up, saying, hey, there is a leak. And he's like, well, I don't see any water. And it's just like, you see it in here. So they had people out today and they're fixing my kitchen. So,
oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's not.
You're a plumber, so I'll have you next.
Well, I'm no good at any of it. I just usually sit. People just assume when they see me like he's either here to fix a toilet or move something, and and otherwise then I had to speak with a Russian accent. Otherwise, then they think I'm Eastern Bloc and I'm there to get money. Hello, Marz. You owe the man. You got to give the money, Marz. Why not pay?
That would be scary.
It's scary if I wear a leather jacket.
But you blend in with my downstairs neighbors who are from the Eastern Bloc.
Oh, no kidding?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Ukraine, do you know where?
No, I don't know the accent. I don't know the accent, but
don't want to ask.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They look tough. And it's mainly the lady. She's the one that scares me the most.
Oh my God. So do the guys wear their tracksuits?
The other day, yes. A guy came out I'd never seen before in a tracksuit. He wasn't social distancing or anything. Didn't speak English, nothing. And I was just like, all right.
That's my son. My son is. I have two sons. One of them's 30. One of them's 28. The 28-year-old decided it would be, and he's 6'8" and 3 something plus. But anyway, he thought it would be a great idea if he and I had matching tracksuits and just went and did stuff together. and I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's do it, and I'll talk like this the whole time. And then every once in a while, and then you'll have to translate.
Just scare the hell out of people.
It's always fun to do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you ever do did you ever when you were out and stuff, because of your improv background, I asked this. Did you ever, if you were at a restaurant or something, did you ever pull characters on the waitress?
Nope.
Oh my God, why not? It's the funnest.
I don't know. I never No, I don't think I've ever. I don't really interact with them too much. Usually, when I interact with waitresses and things, it's usually at venues where I'm performing. Then I'm more. I'll hang out and talk to them and say, "How's the night going? How's everything going?" And hey, Marz, good to see you back at the venue. So that's when I usually talk to the wait staff and stuff like that. But in restaurants, usually, if I'm there by myself, I just talk.
By yourself, you can't. By yourself, it's no fun. You have to have a confederate with you. I did it all. When I lived up in Fargo, we did it all the time. I would speak with some stupid gibberish, and she would be the translator and gibberish back at me. And my whole thing was because I could remember what I just said, so it sounded like it was the same thing. Mm-hmm. And the waitress would just be fascinated. What brings him to our country?
Yes.
He's here to look at farmland. You want to look at farmland and find out how to hook the wheat.
Now, I'm sure you get questions about Fargo because of the movie and the TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
Is it like the movie and the TV shows?
No, the movie and the TV show, honestly, Fargo is actually a very progressive city. There are 3 universities in Fargo and Moorhead. Honestly, it's really I never considered it part of North Dakota. I mean, it's really like part of Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Because the mentality is very similar. But no, it's they have everything you need there. The Fargo movie and TV show are more based on if I'm honest, central Minnesota to northern Minnesota with the accent and the mentality. Fargo's actually, if you've never been there, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
And I honestly, I liked Fargo, and I only say this because I know some people are watching from Rochester. When I lived in Fargo, I lived up there for 10 years. I did not like the blizzards because there were a lot of them. But overall, I liked the vibe of the city more than I liked Rochester when I lived in Rochester. And part of it is because it's more progressive. I mean, there's just it's a more upbeat town. Rochester's very proper, because of the Mayo Clinic, and God love them. But Fargo's cool. Anyway,
okay.
I won't live there again, but I will visit many times. I got a lot of friends up there too. I was there for you're any place for 10 years. What the heck?
You're gonna make some friends. You're gonna make some enemies.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
You're like, I was there for 10 years. I'm never going back.
It's one of those things, man. It's just you think about good stuff. It's not owned by. Well, I know Rochester's not owned by Mayo. IBM has a couple of tracts of land down there too.
So is it like what is it like Orlando that's owned by Disney? It's owned by the Mayo Clinic.
It's what I mean. They've bought up so much of downtown Rochester. That it's you're hard pressed to say, what's not. I mean, you either work for Mayo or you provide service for people that work at Mayo. There are some other businesses, of course, but Mayo is. He's saying it is owned by Mayo. I've often said if it wasn't for the Mayo Clinic, Rochester would just be like a big, I don't know, Rockford, Illinois. Speaking of Rockford,
take that, Rockford.
Speaking of Rockford, are you still doing the announcing? I mean, obviously you're not now, but for the is it the basketball team?
The Blackhawks minor league team out there in Rockford. Yes.
How much fun is that, dude?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it's because I did the same thing for the Bulls, but it's 2 different things because the Bulls, huge corporate, just like really, really corporate, and things that you say don't go over. Whereas I think in 2, basketball fans versus hockey fans. Hockey fans don't give a shit, and they want to have a good time, and that was just like party central there.
Yeah.
And just, the fans are great. The venue was great. The ownership and everything was great. So love doing it. And looking forward to next season.
Yeah. And Dave's one of my friends in radio. Dream job right there, he says. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So much fun. So much fun.
And the thing is, I don't know anything about hockey.
You don't need to if all you're doing is the fun stuff, right?
I'm doing all the fun stuff.
That guy's got on skates. That guy's got a stick.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I have to do like the junior team will come out during an intermission, or some groups will come out during intermission, and they'll like have scrimmages against each other, and they're like, all right, you have to go out there and announce for it. And I'm just like, all right, number 13 has the puck, and oh, look, he's spinning around with it. How does he stay up on those skates? That's the extent. I don't know blue. I guess I know a blue line is, but
because of the color.
Yeah. It's like icing, high sticking. I know what that is, but that's the extent of my knowledge.
But you don't need to know much because, as you said, everybody's excited to see it.
Yeah.
You know, gosh, and it sounds just like so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, Marz, I got to tell you, man, we're working up on an hour, and I can't believe it's gone by so fast. Dude, you're so much fun to talk to, and I appreciate you so much, and thank you so much for taking so much time to talk with me today. Really means a lot, buddy. And I can't wait.
John.
You're
I'm looking
welcome.
forward to us getting back and working together again, and hanging out and chewing the fat.
I agree 100%. 100%. And folks, like I always mention to you, if you're watching and you see somebody live streaming something on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or Twitch, wherever you look for stuff, stop, give them a like, watch it for a little bit. If it's not your cup of tea, move on, because all of us creative folks love to have a little bit of a connection. And if you do that, you can help them feel like what they're doing has value. And if you do that, you are a superstar in my book. Tonight, I'm running tech for Wendy Mayberry. She's doing a show for teacher appreciation in the last day of school. You can find tickets for that on Day Drinking with Mom on Facebook. Track that down. That's a cool thing. She's got Devin Seibold, who's got millions and millions and millions of hits. Thanks, Denny. Appreciate you watching, buddy.
Thank you.
But he'll be the headliner for that show. That's at 8:00 tonight. Tomorrow, I have Chris Maddock, famous comedian, the old Mad Dogger, will be with us at 1:00. And then at 7:00 tomorrow night, we're going to try that match game show with Tracy McCrae, Megan Kennedy, Jeff Cecil, Logan Nielsen, and Steve Lang from the Rochester Post Bulletin. I don't know anybody up here in Minneapolis. I just get Rochester people all the time. That's kind of my gig. But anyway, again, Marz, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks,
and,
John.
Folks,
I'm going to get my tracksuit for when we have to do a show together next, so we can
do it. Oh, my God, that would be the best.
Tracksuits.
That would be the best. And we come in together, and I say, I am Russian, and you say, I am Ukrainian. And then they all love it and stick out of the way for us, because we do work in our comedy show. Comedy show. I got to tell you this before we go. I used to, when I was working in radio in Fargo, I had this character. It was Yuri Skilkovich, the 60-second psychic, and I would do it on radio, right? And I was working at a pop station, and so the people were like, yeah, they're young, they're kind of with it, and they're like, they know it's a gag. Right. Mm-hmm. And we did it so many times, and it was always fun. And I would say, to tell your fortune today, I need to know your first name, your date of birth, and what you have for breakfast. And of course, then people would tell me, and I would just pay attention, right, to what was going on the phone. I would hear a guy, and he's obviously calling from work, and there's noise. And he says, my friend, I predict you will have a very noisy lunch hour. And then, so then I go down and do it in Rochester. And because I'm working on a talk station now, and I do it on there, and it's a lot of older people that listen to talk stations, and they all thought it was real. And I was like, you're not asking there. I said, so I need to know your name, your this, and your blood. And the lady will go, well, I'll tell you that, but I really want to know, how is my love life going to be this year? It is going to be terrible. You will meet the dog, and dog will run away from you. Dog do not like you, nor will man. Anyway, buddy, thank you again so much. I appreciate it. And best of luck to you. And let's keep in touch, and I'll look forward to seeing you again.
Indeed. Take it easy.
All righty. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Bye-bye.